Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about things that Palworld need to improve and fix just to make the game a little bit more enjoyable, a good quality of life update with varying things that I've noticed that have frustrated me. So if you agree with these, hit the like button. If there's anything else you think should be added to the list, put it down in the comments section and other people will see it. So the first thing that really frustrates me is expeditions. So expeditions, you can set your pals to go out and do things. It costs a little bit of wood, stone and palladium fragments to make, and it takes up a big huge part of your base. You want to build them into rocks if you can, and you can basically send your pals out to do anything you want and get any rewards that you want. Some of them require you to beat the hard bosses, which I did do, but I lost my save, so I've got to go do it again. You know, if I wanted to go get a whole bunch of, you know, spheres or go here and get specific things like organs, high quality power oil, you can click and choose it and then send your pals out. Now you can press auto assign and it'll pick the best pals for you, but as you can see, a lot of my pals aren't available to go. You know, there's not enough stuff here. I'm only going to get 69% of the rewards, and a lot of these pals here are my working pals in my base. I just had to use them for something else, so I've took them out the bases. So typically I don't have pals ready to go, and that is because of the dimensional power box. Now if I go into my dimensional power box, you can see that I have a lot of pals here just doing nothing. Things that I've caught, things that I don't need. Actually my me mugs can go in there as well, and things that I've leveled up to around about level 40 so that they do work in expeditions because they're a little bit higher level. You know, there's things here, if you require more ice pals, they can go in. And the problem that I have and the things that I think need to be fixed is that any pal in your dimensional power box should be available to go into expeditions and not just the stuff in your normal power box. Now the reason why I say this is because I am currently breeding a whole bunch of things. So I have let me go over here to my breeding pen. I have at the moment a lot of Anubis being born so that I can delete them to get the potential technology points, but also as well I have my Xenolords trying to make a perfectly rolled Xenolord. Before I had Bastigors and all these other pals that I was doing stuff with. Now I can't be bothered to always pick up all them and then run over and put them into the dimensional power box. So while I'm not using these pals, it's easier to throw them into here, and then I can just go pick up the eggs. I won't pick them all up, open them up like this, set all the eggs, boom, open them, and then go straight into, you know, dismantling them. I don't need to go backwards and forwards to my power box. I can just do this, and it's a lot easier than going backwards and forwards. So any pal that is in your dimensional power box should be available for expeditions, because just like I said about having to go back to your power box to get all the ones that you've birthed, the same goes for expeditions. Now I have to go into here, click them all, get them back into my power box to send them on expeditions. It's so frustrating and annoying, and I really do think it should be available to be go on expeditions. Just a small little one here, but anything that you give birth to should have a better chance to get the things that are rolled from the parents. I know it kind of defeats the idea of breeding, however the problem is that if you want something like rainbow perks, you can go and open 6,000 eggs before you get anything close to what you want. So if you've got good rolls on your parents, they should pass those down a lot easier so that then you can fill the other perk slots with rainbow perks once you get them. That's just a little kind of thing that grinds my gears, but essentially it's not that important. That's just something I would like to see change. Better chances of getting perks that you want rather than constantly getting all the other things. Now the next thing that really frustrates me is the PAL disassembly conveyor. Why is there only this many slots to actually destroy things? I got 2 disassembly conveyors here, and I have to go backwards and forwards between them to be able to destroy my Anubises as quick as possible, and it's just so much effort for something that doesn't require effort, and you can't put another one in until one gets eaten by the machine. So for me to go through and have to do all this over and over again, it just makes no sense. Just give me more space on a single conveyor, because all it is queuing it up. It's not like there's more available on the track at any one time. There's only usually 3 to 4 Anubis, so it just doesn't make any sense why you can't just stack, you know, this whole section, so you can just line them all up in one conveyor. You don't have to worry about anything else going backwards and forwards. That to me is just frustrating. Now with the Anubis, hopefully they've dropped some technology books for me, because another gripe of mine with this kind of cycle is the fact that you can't activate things all at the same time, and I'll explain it once I collect everything. So I have here innovative technical manuals. I have 9 of them. Each one of these gives me 2 technology points, but I have to sit here and do them one by one. Now there's no reason for you to save these things for later. You just want to get them all on. Now I've had like 21 to 24 coming from any one set of Anubises that I destroy, so I have to sit here clicking this and confirm 20 times just to get it all done and finished. Just allow me to click it, select them all at once and open them all at once. It's just makes so much more sense, and then it just saves me time. It just saves me frustration of being like, oh my god, I have to do all this, I have to do all this, and then I can get through and unlock everything that I need to unlock faster. Something that they need to add to the game is using these elixirs for something else, because they become useless once you are maxed out on every stat. There's just nothing else you can do with them, and all you do is just collect them endlessly. So something needs to be made, some sort of machine where you can destroy these into some kind of material. I don't know what those materials will be, but there should be something that you can dismantle these into, so that you can use those materials to make something else. You know, potentially like the IV stuff for your pals. You know, you can just dismantle all these, get very small amounts of materials, and then use all those materials to make something, you know, like the stout fruits and stuff like that. That for me would make this grind and all this stuff that you get useful for something, but for right now it's just basically collect them and do nothing with them. So I'm going to keep collecting them just in case they do put something into the game, but essentially they just need to do something better with all these things. Like, they're just sitting there just pointless now. Something that I think needs to happen in this game is underneath the sorting section there should be an alphabetical choice. If I want something like a Xenolord and it's somewhere lost in the middle of my dimensional box, I just sort it by alphabetical, and I know that it's going to be the last PAL. Now, since the work suitability was introduced, it does make things a lot easier, and you know, I feel like they've done a really good job. However, I would just like something that is alphabetical. Then I can just untick everything, select alphabetical, find the thing that I need. That also goes for like your normal power boxes and stuff as well, so not just a dimensional thing, which I use for everything in this game. Even the Palpedia, there should be an option to just search for a PAL. So like a little search box here that I could click in, type Memog, and it springs down to it, or it just makes it its own choice and everything else disappears. Because sometimes when I'm looking for a specific PAL, I'm like this, going all the way through, and I'm just like, oh, where is it? 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 And I might miss it, end up down near the bottom somewhere, and then have to start over again. It's happened to me many times, and then I could just click the thing that I want, click habitat. So I just hope to God they put something in for sorting in alphabetical. It would make so much sense. I also think guild chests need to have more slots, because this is great and you know it's useful, but often having to take things out to put something else in so I can use it across all my bases. That's just a little nitpicky thing for me. I just hope they add more spaces, because why not? There's so much stuff through all my chests in all my bases anyway. Just allow me to throw more into a guild chest. And on top of that, while I can see them, there needs to be more uses for sulfur and pure quartz. When they introduce new stuff to the game, you know, like hexalite and chromite, that's really good for the thing of that DLC or that expansion. But quartz and sulfur have just got lost in the mix. Like, there's rarely anything you use them for. I've got a whole chest filled with both of these because I never ever use them. You know, you'll make a few things that you need to make and then you'll never need them again. Whereas something like ingots and ore, you constantly need to be using them, and stuff like palladium fragments, even wood, stone and fiber as well. You know, all this stuff is used very often. Wool, high quality cloth and cloth, you'll use a lot of that towards the like start of your game, because you're going to be making clothes, you're going to be making beds for the pals, but they also need an improvement in something you can use with them. We've got leather, which I don't even think I ever use. Bones and horns are used for medicine, so that's fine. But then a lot of stuff just dissipates and you don't really need it for anything, but more specifically quartz and sulfur. Right, something that really peeves me, and I'm sure it peeves a lot of people, are base limits, the perimeter. Why on earth do we have a game that is based in square foundations only allow you to have a circular base? Now, I'm in the midst of rebuilding my base, you know, this one in the center. I've got 7 bases all the way around. I actually have a build guide for this, so if you haven't seen this yet, go and check it out on my channel. But I now have a lot of dead space over here that I don't need, or there's nothing I can really do with it. Maybe I can throw some decorations out there just to make it look like there's stuff around. But as you can see, like in my base over here, which I do usually have stuff in mining, but I took all the pals out. You know, I have all my beds around the outside and way too many hot tubs just to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But it's just a waste of valuable space. Having a square base would allow me to do so much more. So this corner, for instance, I could use to build upwards so that the pals can go up and down onto a second floor. But it's just so frustrating to see a circular base in something that is a square foundation type game. And then also I would like to see better choices for building types. So, you know, if we come in here and we go to the foundations, these are actually very limiting. And the one thing I would like to see an improvement in is the stone triangular walls. So if I pick up one of these, they can only go pretty much one of 2 ways, like so. Now, if I could have them go vertically changing, there's a lot more even in just that I can just use to build more. So I can't explain it without showcasing it, but I can't showcase it because it doesn't exist in the game. So, you know, for instance, like having a triangle that can come, get out the way, Jet Ragam, having a triangle that can go like this here, up there, and then across there. You know, that means then that I can build different types of shapes of buildings. That's just one, again, like a little nitpick that I have. And then the other thing I would like to see is just a half wall. Now, I basically threw these little triangles up as just a way to, so I can kind of see where the hole is for my jet dragon to go in and out of. Just give me a half wall, please. Just give me a half wall. Any kind of steps or anything that I built, like over here, if we go over there, triple jumping, this would look so much more aesthetically pleasing if I could just have a half wall all the way around here. There just needs to be better building options in my opinion, as well as having a properly shaped base. Just while we're going to the next section as well, there is another thing that I forgot to mention, but when things become unreachable by pals for absolutely no reason, and then you have to like either keep throwing them back around in the area, or you know, actually assign them to that place, which then oftentimes you forget that they are, you know, there, and you have to fix them because I might get sick or something because they're stuck on the base. That is frustrating. We would definitely love to see them fix the unreachable by pals stuff. And also as well, another thing which really frustrates me is when the items that you are farming in some way, shape or form drop onto the floor and you cannot auto pick them up. You have to literally go over there and keep clicking F and pick them all up. Now I know that happens a lot when duplicating items, which is a bit of a scam, and we shouldn't really have to think about that, but it still is just something very frustrating. Also as well, if there's loads of items on the floor and you log out of the game and log back in, all of those items you have to pick up. Now the other thing I would like to see is using hexalite to actually make hexalite tools, so that hitting hexalite isn't as boring and as frustrating. Now I have all the settings up so that you do more damage to gatherable things, and I still have to sit here and keep hitting it over and over again like 9 times just to get one hexalite thing finished. And then if you go on normal settings, it's going to take longer to actually go through and hit all those things to get a full hexalite shard node thing done and finished. Same with chromite as well. Chromite's not too bad though if you have the settings up. I think it's only 2 hits, but with normal settings it then becomes just frustrating. So give us hexalite tools so we can, you know, get on with our lives a little bit easier and a little bit faster. Plus as well, why are they not in the game anyway? Now, the last thing I would like to see change is the world settings. So if we go here and go to custom settings, these are so poorly explained, and the bar of like turning it up or down can get so confusing when it comes to just general rules. Now, if you've played the game enough, you understand what these are. These settings you're seeing here are typically when I'm recording type settings, so I don't have to worry about things that if anything gets in my way, I can kill them quickly and continue with recording my my game. So for instance, daytime and nighttime speed, right? Normal actual settings, they're set to 1. So the length of time of day and night are exactly the same at a rate of one day. Now for me, when I first started playing this, is I want that to be faster at nighttime so I can just get my powers working again. Oh, 0.1. That's a smaller number than 1, which means it's faster. But no, it's actually like a multiplicative of the day. So 0.1 of a 1 day means it will move slower, and going up and making it 5 times faster than 1 means that the day or the night, whichever one you're setting, will speed up and be quicker. It's very strange, like the way they word these, and some of them just don't make much sense on a logical English language basis. It's very frustrating. So all of these stuff pretty much self-explanatory. EXP rate, you know, you go up higher so you get more XP, and then we have things like damage from pals multiplier, damage to pals multiplier. So this essentially is when pals attack you, they do X amount of damage, and this one here is damage to pals, so the damage you do to pals. Now again, 0.1 and 5. So if you wanted to make the game easy mode and you want to do damage to pals, great. However, this one here, damage from pals multiplier, means that your own pals will then be weaker, just as the enemy pals will be weaker against you. Now I don't know whether these are intended to be that way, and if they are, it can be a bit frustrating because you want your pals to be powerful, you want to do damage to them, and if you're doing something like typically you want to go down to like 0.7 damage because you don't want to die instantly to everything, you want to just experience the game and enjoy it, then that means your pals are also weaker. Yeah, that's fair, I guess, but I just feel like there should be separate settings for this so that people have true control over what they are doing. Same with all these types of things as well, like the auto health regeneration, etc, you know, the regeneration rates. Damage to player and damage from player, again the same as the PAL stuff, except it's you as a player. So damage from the player means the damage you do to any kind of enemies, and then damage to player is anything that's done to you. So again, just the wording of it just doesn't really truly line up, and it can be confusing for new players. So yeah, these are all just things that they need to kind of go through, I think, and either change the wording of them or give it like a tooltip, so when you highlight it, some words down here pop up saying exactly what that means, like dropped items multiplier. So what are the dropped items? Because dropped items aren't gatherable objects, and gatherable objects essentially drop to the floor once you get them, once you smack like the hexalite and stuff. So it's just very, very, very strange the way they've done it, and I really do feel like they should go in and either do tooltips or just change them all and just make it a little bit easier to understand. And that's it, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below. Is there any other things that you think need to be fixed, changed, improved? Thank you for watching. I've been Easy Now. You guys have been awesome.